Welcome to The Goblet Wire, a surreal microfiction podcast. Transcripts are available on our website, thegobletwire.card.co. This is episode 4, It Is Not Too Late, written by Esther Ellis.
Operator, before you patch me in, I have a question.
Of course.
What happens when you die?
That's a big question.
No, in the game, specifically.
I honestly don't know.
Well, can you continue playing? Maybe as a ghost or a new projection?
I couldn't tell you. Both because I'm restricted from giving you details about the consequences of the game itself, and because I don't really know.
That's all. Go ahead.
Patching you in. Continuing outside of the Sea King's lair.
A salty breeze washes over the rocky island and groans through the yawning cavern. Crying gulls warn of an imminent storm. You feel a sizzle on the many holes of your left arm, and a slow, vein-lurching movement in its hollow center. The parasite is awakening, sensing a newly infected host nearby. The Guardian smiles lazily, orange tinging the white of the eye, a sign you recognize all too well. The dream spores have taken root.
Better get this over with. I take a bite out of the gifted cheese and ask, forgive me my curiosity, but has anyone entered your cave recently?
The Guardian puffs up in pride. Not on my family's watch. The last person to step through that threshold was due for execution when my mother had this post.
Executions? What kind of crime warranted a curse that severe?
Oh, it was usually reserved for rebellious, noble clans, when there was still royalty. It was particularly effective against the long-living family matriarchs and patriarchs. Simply schedule a great-grandchild to be fed to the great Sea King, and they'd have to watch as their entire line died excruciating deaths, all while surviving themselves. An effective way of keeping them under control. Until, with a tip from the nobles, the common people found a royal bastard and tossed them into the cave. My mother was still an apprentice then. After that day, my family vowed to keep any from feeding the Sea King.
So, you've never seen the thing?
Seen it? Are you out of your mind? Of course not.
And your mother was a girl last time anyone entered?
They take a bite from one of the twice-cooked links in contemplation. My mother was a young apprentice then, yes.
Okay, so, forgive me. How do you know anything is in there?
The Guardian looks back at the entrance to the lair, a treacherous path, full of dire mystery. I don't understand what you mean.
Does it make noises? Does it grumble or scream?
The Guardian seems puzzled. No, it's a silent horror.
Does it visit daydreams or nightmares or otherwise affect the mind?
The Guardian shudders at the thought.
So how do you know it's really there? If you've never seen it, and if you've never heard it, if you weren't alive the last time it was supposedly used in some peasant uprising.
I just know.
But how? Really?
I know, young man. I know. I did not spend my entire life sitting in front of this empty cave in wind and sleet over long winters and scorching summers. I did not pass on the opportunity to find love, or take up a passion, or see the vast world to be guarding a figment. The Sea King waits in that cave. That I know.
Of course. But, and you'll have to forgive me.
You've used your trigger phase, forgive me, for the third time.
Yes, I have.
Would you like to utilize your parasites attribute?
Yes. I'm gonna use Dream Pusher. And I would like to flip for it.
There will be a significant consequence if you fail, and if you succeed.
I know. I call heads. Heads.
The doubt you've sown has sprouted. The dream you chase takes form. The Guardian before you is shaken. Choose your next words carefully, for they will reshape the way your victim understands the world.
After the third use of forgive me, I continue. What if the Sea King is dead?
Dead?
Yes, dead. You've established that it keeps residents in this cave. That is unquestionable. But 2 generations is a long time to survive without a meal.
I've never thought of it needing to feed.
Even gods have to feed. And now that I think about it, there's a smell.
What smell?
You can't smell that? I sensed it the moment I landed here, but I couldn't remember what it reminded me of until now. A bloated, washed-up corpse that I encountered in my youth.
Now that you're saying it, I might smell something?
Perhaps you could just check. Just in case.
It would be dangerous.
Oh no, not if it's dead. It's a guardian's duty to know the state of its charge, after all. Your family's oath would be fulfilled.
I have been very curious. You wouldn't judge me?
Of course not.
I know it's not a lie, the reason I've been standing here for all of these decades, but this island has felt awfully empty lately.
I think it's reasonable to be curious.
Perhaps a peek wouldn't hurt. A reward for a life of service.
It's no less than you deserve.
I must admit, this is exciting. I will go at once. Please watch my post.
Of course.
The Guardian stands up on rickety legs, using their spear as a support. Their weather-worn rags, the remnant of a righteous tabard, drags behind.
Guardian? Before you go,
Yes, young man?
would you mind holding my satchel? I need to relieve myself.
Of course. No problem.
I hand over the satchel containing the Doc Baron's blood.
The Guardian slings it over their shoulder, before marching toward the mouth of the cave. You sense an energetic optimism, a bold curiosity, but more than anything, you sense the influence of the dream spores overriding the Guardian's convictions.
It is not too late to stop them.
I don't.
Your left arm thrashes. The parasite it contains vibrates in a ravenous frenzy, and it absorbs the final visions of your victim. Your pores expand and discharge a purple ooze. The dream spores have been corrupted. You're now the host of
Chronic nightmare spores.
The island goes quiet once again. But you know that you are not alone. For deep in the island's cavern waits the Sea King and its bloodline curse. You can only hope that the death of the Doc Baron and its heir is worth the price that you've paid Fisher of Snakes.
This episode was written by Esther Ellis. It starred Jack Moore as Fisher of Snakes, Cole Burkhart as the Operator, and Richard Penner as the Dictator. Art by Chandler Candela. Credit music by Oliver Morris. Editing and sound design by Esther Ellis and Justin Hellstrom. Synthscape by Justin Hellstrom. Instead of a podcast recommendation, I want to point you to our talented visual artist, Chandler Candela. I don't know if you've taken a close look at the Goblet Wire art. The level of detail is absurd and it's full of Easter eggs. He's often open for commissions, whether you need custom art for your next podcast or an original character for your own strange role-playing game. I can't recommend him enough. Go to twitter.com, follow him at ChanCanon_. That's at ChanCanan_ to see his gallery and hire him. And while you're there, follow the Goblet Wire at the Goblet Wire. Next week features episode 5, If Only I Were Never Home, by Eli Barraza. I hope we'll see you there.